Chucky News Live and all 111 interactive entertainment and Evan Lefavor content for the month of June was funded from viewer support from viewers like you. If you like Chucky News Live or any other Evan Lefavor and 111 interactive entertainment programming, please consider supporting this stream through Streamlabs. The link is in the description. You can make a small donation and your message will pop up on screen for eternity, and you will be added to the list of associate producers for the month of July. Also consider becoming a patron on Patreon. And get ready, because there's a new Chucky tier coming soon on Patreon for all the Chucky fans. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. Hello, everyone in the multiverse and beyond. Yes, this is your friend forever, Ade Dewey Dembella. Give us the power, we beg of you. Welcome to Chucky News Live, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Ooh, are you ready? Are you ready for one of the best episodes ever? Make sure to click, share, make sure to subscribe, let people know Chucky News Live is live. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. All right, y'all. Uh-oh. Hold on. We can't hear you. Uh-oh. There we go. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
We're getting a little bit of feedback. We're getting I can hear the stream in the background, yo. We're getting a little bit of feedback. There we go. That's better. All right. How's everyone doing tonight? Nightmare Crib, what's up, man? How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, doing pretty well.
Nice. Yeah, we missed you last week, man. You were having Chucky dreams, huh? Dreaming about Chucky?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, a hard-working man like you making all these Child's Play remake update videos and these Chucky News videos, man. You got to get your rest sometime, man. So,
yeah, totally.
So, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Nightmare Crib. And tonight, our special guest is Akeem from Pride of Chucky. How's it going, Akeem? How you doing tonight, man?
AKA Jonathan.
Yeah, AKA Jonathan. Jonathan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. How's everybody else? I wish I had to turn off the YouTube feed, so I can't see everybody's comments.
Oh, okay.
But what's going on? I'm doing all right.
Oh, yeah, we're just chilling, man. Just enjoying the fact that there's so much Chucky stuff going on. It seems a great time to be a Chucky fan, you know?
No. I'm sorry. You knew what you should have known what you were getting into when you asked me on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know,
but I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I mean, you seem to, for those of you who don't know, Akeem makes custom Good Guys dolls, and he is always in business. It seems like you always working on a new good guy. You always got at least a couple in production.
Do what I can, man.
Yeah.
I sound pretty interesting.
Yeah, and you can see maybe in a little bit later on in the show, you can show us some of the stuff you're working on right now, man.
Right.
Because I'm sure the audience would love to see that.
Cool. A lot of the stuff, I'm in the conceptual stages right now, because I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with me, but I don't like to do anything unless I have unless I know how it's going to be before I start putting money in anything forward and backwards. Because it's important. You know, we have a lot of custom makers at this point, so I just want to make sure as an artist that my voice is heard. You know what I mean? I just want so that when you see my work, you know it's mine. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different stuff out there.
Yeah, I'll say that we'll take a look at I got some pictures of some of the good guys you've made. You definitely have, a distinct, it's got a signature look. Your good guys definitely have a signature look. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah. And so, I mean, I think, with the TV series and the remake, and now, I mean, there's more custom makers out there than ever, but I think you're probably the most affordable out of all of them, wouldn't you say? I mean, out of all the different custom makers out there.
I definitely would say so from what I understand. Because my thing from the beginning, I don't know if you're like aware of this, because I posted something like a couple of weeks ago, and it was an email that I was corresponding with somebody from Chucky Holics. This is back in 2009, 2010, where I was going over like the very early preliminary stuff to try to make customs. Now, this is before anybody even thought of it. Because the issue I had, and the reason why I, not to jump into it, but the reason why I started Pride of Chucky, because I'm an avid horror fan. So, everybody, puts the Chucky on me, but I'm just an avid horror fan. So my thing is, when I would go to boards for other, dedicated to other franchises and stuff like that, what I would find is that there was never any like centrally located communal place for Chucky fans to go. Like it was always Friday the 13th and etc. Nightmare on Elm Street and etc. Halloween and etc. And etc. was Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw, and Chucky. All of that stuff. I couldn't go any place to. There was a time when there was. I don't know. People are gonna forget about it, but there was no custom anything. Nick Hill, and barely any mass-produced anything. Nick Hill was one of the first people from Chucky Holics back in 2006 and 7. Was one of the first people I ever saw that owned one of the Japanese replicas, which even back then were harder to come by because they weren't released over here.
Yeah.
To ever touch it and perfect it and make it look more movie accurate, so that like intrigued me. And plus, just being a fan of the communal privately made Myers Mask community and Hop community and stuff like that. I just said, why hasn't anybody done this for Chucky? Because I could never find anything.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, it's been tough being a Chucky fan on the internet. I mean, we had, I know a lot of people flocked to the IMDb message boards back in the day.
Right.
Like it was just a seat of Chucky and stuff, and then they had like I forget if they had a message board for Chucky Sperm Bank. You remember that when Seed of Chucky?
Yeah, that was early on. That was like 2004. That was like the precursor to Chucky Holics.
Yeah.
When promotion for Seed came out, like the last time they, in my opinion, properly promoted these Chucky movies.
Yeah.
For fanfare to get people excited about these movies, and I'm talking about the linear series. I'm not talking about the remake. They created a whole website with a flash game and everything, and just like one of the only communal places for this specific franchise where people can get together and talk about the movies without getting bombarded by negativity from other franchise fans. Like, this is the thing. I told Don one time when I met him, because I met him a couple of times, but it was real late. So thankfully he knew I was tired and I was like half out of my mind when I said this, because I told him I hated Seed. Oh. And I said, but this is the thing. After I met Jennifer, and I completely understand why. And the reason why I felt comfortable because Jennifer Tilly is amazing. Oh, yeah. She's everything you would want. And the reason why I felt comfortable with telling Don this is because I've been in so many arguments and discussions and fanboy shit and temporarily banned from places defending this series and all the twists and turns and all the stuff that happens with the series. So if I go so in for my fandom for the series, like I felt comfortable enough, because I'm on the front lines defending this thing that he created. When people are saying I don't like this, I don't understand this, I don't like it, and this is stupid or this is goofy or something, and I'm defending the series, and and I'd never even met him at the time, so I felt comfortable enough like expressing my dislike for something because you know what I mean, because my intense fandom and support that I give most of the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I was so glad about the Chucky sperm bank because I just got tired of every time I went to another board and I wanted to talk about Chucky. Like a lot of the times I always have to I'm always in a position to have to defend the series, and I got sick of that. You know what I mean? So that's part of the reasons why I created Pride of Chucky.
Yeah. I mean, everybody always wants to talk shit about Chucky, like, oh, he's not a real horror villain because he's so small or because of this or that. They always got some reason they come up with to talk shit. But yeah, so I'm glad you did that, man. That's good because we did need a place, And I gotta say, out of all the Chucky communities out there, and I've seen them all, man, because I'm a lifelong Chucky fan. The Pride of Chucky is the most respectful group I think out there is the Pride of Chucky group. Because
I made a place. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I'm not gonna name names, Chucky Nation, but there's some horrible.
Please do. No, because I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna go there, but you know what you was doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm messy. And this is my issue I have with Chucky Nation. What is his name? The proprietor of that group?
Yeah,
Anthony Winlock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I really am not a fan of him. He's like when I made Pride of Chucky, because I'm a fan of the series and I wanted a place that I can go to talk about the series.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell Chucky, like he's like an absentee admin, like this is the thing, because this is when you have a member in your group. First and foremost, this connects. So if I start rambling, like it's for a reason, because the whole reason why people even know me by Jonathan, something other than my name, is because I had Anthony Winlock has no control over the members of his own group. So I'm kind of, and I get spammed and the people taking my profile picture and shit and trolling and all that kind of stuff. And I got sick. I'm like, this is a little bit too much just to be running a fan page, because it's getting to the point where I want to fight somebody because this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And you're taking pictures of my family and all that shit.
That's crazy.
And I'm not really a good online. I'm not a bullying victim, you know what I mean? Like I'm from New York, I'm very aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So
I gotta Akeem, I don't mean to cut you off. I gotta leave the call real quick and try to come back because I lost your camera feed. I think if I come back in, it'll be better. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, sorry, I lost your camera feed on. Sorry, I lost your camera feed on my end, man.
That's okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, out of all the fan communities out there, I got no shame saying that Chucky Nation is the most toxic, and it's like that's where all the haters end up, and it seems like a lot of hate, but there's something about the Chucky fan community where it's always been at war with each other. The only time it ever agreed was when there was only Child's Play 1, and then when Child's Play 2 came out, it was either it was the people that loved the original and the people that loved the second one. And then when the third one came out, then it was, the third one's the worst movie. We hate the third one. We love the first two, but we hate the third one. And then it seems every every new movie that comes out, people start hating on it, calling it the worst one. Then Bride of Chucky came out. Then there was a whole group of fans that hate that, and that's the worst one because it's funny. And then it went to Seed of Chucky. Now that's the worst one to come out. And it's like every time a new one comes out, it's like there's a whole new splinter group that hates it, you know?
This is the thing. This is why I'm going to say I'm going to agree that Seed is the worst one. This is why. And it's I hate saying this because then, you know, when I go to conventions and I see these people and stuff, it makes it seem like I don't appreciate their work. Like, I love Jennifer Tilly to death. She's everything. She's fantastic. She's like a real life, you know, Marilyn Monroe, if you've ever met her. She's like funny. She's sexy. She's, you know, she's Jennifer Tilly. You know what I mean? So I hate saying anything negative about Seed, Jennifer Tilly-centric thing, because after I met them, I realized why they did it. Because with somebody like Jennifer, like she needs to have some kind of showcase. Expressing like her talents and her quirkiness and, you know, and the sexiness and all of that stuff. Like, and if it has to be through a, you know, randomly enough through a Chucky movie, then so be it. But it needed to happen. So we needed some Jennifer Tilly centered something. And the thing about it is Seed is the worst because to me, because that's when I noticed. Because I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up, you know, at the tail end of the 80s and then, you know, early into the 90s. So I'm old enough to remember when there were I remember when Child's Play 2 came out. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and I was obsessed with it, like, because I was, you know, I was always an odd child. Like, my fascination with these movies, like, would worry my mother. I mean, why would it not? It's like franchise about to kill a dog, but you know what I mean. But that's when I noticed a weird shift in the fandom. That's when I know, not even with Bride. That's when I noticed Seed didn't necessarily attract a lot of quote unquote horror fans. I want to say, I don't want to say social, like it had like a healthy audience of like SJWs and pre-SJW things because of the, you know, the gender bending content and all that stuff. So it appealed to a more of a non-horror demographic because these are things that, you know, they don't really explore in horror.
It was,
you know, because it's not really enough room to.
It was the least mainstream of all the Chucky movies. Like, I think it shocked audiences. Anybody from a mainstream audience that saw that movie was shocked at what they saw, and they probably didn't like it.
I felt something when I saw it in theaters. You know, that was the first. That was the first time I saw a Chucky movie, and I was like, honestly, like scared and not looking forward to the future. Like, that was the first time I ever felt that way, and it was a really weird feeling. So I'm glad we're past that. I gotta leave real quick again. I'll be right back.
But I know. I mean, you see, I'm in the camp that likes Seed of Chucky, and I just like it not as the best Chucky movie. I don't think it's like the best or anywhere near. But to me, it was like just as the fact that Don Mancini took the absurd concept, the absurd aspects of the franchise, and put the pedal to the metal. Like, I appreciated that at the time when I was young. I thought some of that shit was funny, like Chucky jerking off and like all this crazy shit. Like, I thought it was funny, but looking back on it, you know, it's like it kind of took the franchise in a lot of disrespectful directions. Like, I would suggest checking out 3C Films. Just did a video on Seed of Chucky, and a lot of the shit he pointed out. A lot of the shit he pointed out will get you to look at to look at Seed of Chucky's flaws a little bit more. But you know, whatever. You know, it happens. You know, like, look, Don Mancini's not perfect. You know, he's made his mistakes in the past, but like you said, there is a market out there for it. I think, like you said, I think he was trying to more put a message in that movie so he could speak to a specific audience out there. and he kind of lost the intended audience in the shuffle, you know.
Right. I just said it's not the time nor the place. And you know what I mean? So I just couldn't like I don't know, because this is the thing. When I saw Bride, my first reaction, I remember walking out of the theater was when I saw that ending, I said, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but the thing about it is the movie looked so good. The story was told so well. The effects were so great.
Yeah.
It softened me to it to where it was one of my favorites. And then it allowed me to be able to enjoy it in a different way. You know what I mean? And now it's actually one of my favorite and everybody else's favorites. You know what I mean? So I just didn't understand why they had to, again, because I spent so, I used to go so hard in the defending of this series and all that stuff. So it was just, I hated, for him to turn this into a joke.
Yeah, it gave the haters even more ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like this, I just felt like I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. I wanted a horror movie. I was accustomed to a horror movie. You know what I mean? And I don't know. And also, the thing, we were supposed to get that movie in '99, but that Columbine.
Yeah, that was crazy. And like you said, being a Chucky
that
fan.
That really fucked up Hollywood. That fucked up horror in Hollywood that year. Like, everything was fucked up. Remember Scream 3? We got a PG-13 Scream 3 movie because people were so scared of movie violence. And we can remember Teaching Mrs. Tingle.
Yeah. Oh, that was like they butchered that.
Yeah, Teaching Mrs. Tingle. It was supposed to be Killing Mrs. Tingle, and it was like it was really weird. It was a really weird time, and I noticed a lot of the time when they were going over these reports, when everybody was kind of in mourning. The country was like confused as hell. But even though we're like desensitized to this stuff now, they were confused, and everybody was looking for an answer. So I noticed a lot of the times on CNN and stuff, they would come back to the movies, and then they would throw the child. I would always see clips from the Child's Play thrown into the mix when they were reporting about what would make kids or youth do something like this. I always see clips of Child's Play, Marilyn Manson, and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So because I just say that to say, I wonder what would have happened if we would have got Seed of Chucky sooner.
Yeah. It would have been considered way ahead of its time if we did, because
I think so.
Yeah, but I mean, I still. So. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame what happened, in that post-Columbine world. And even before that, Chucky was taking the blame in that Jamie Bulger case where little kids killed the other kid, and the parents had rented Child's Play 3 or some shit, and they found out they watched it. And so they banned it. The whole UK banned Child's Play 3 until just recently.
That was so serious over there because I'm not from the UK. I've never even been there before. But when I would post on that on Pride of Chucky's Facebook page, people from the UK would actually get upset with me for even bringing that up because apparently it was so sensitive.
Dang.
What was going on over there? You know what I mean? Like they expected me to not even talk about it, and I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can't just go through someone's house after they commit a crime like that and say, "Oh, this is why they did it," because there was a Chucky movie there. Like, come on now.
Yeah, we know that now. Now there's reports they had no proof that the kids even saw that.
Yeah.
Plus, everybody has Netflix. Look up documentaries. We know those kids had a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a movie. Yeah. That's back then. Back then they were blaming Beavis and Butthead. For everything as well. So, you know what I mean? That's
sure.
So, that's,
Yeah. So, you say you consider Seed to be your least favorite. And
right.
Yeah, I would say I've said it before, but I think Curse is my least favorite just because it just disappointed me in a few ways, Like, I didn't like what they did with Charles Lee Ray's character with the, tying up the mom and, you know, he's obsessed with her and like all the flowers and stuff. It was just kind of weird, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. And
Can I say something though about that?
yeah,
Because I always like to challenge people on that.
yeah,
Because Eric, like I think I don't know. Keep in mind, we knew nothing about Charles Lee Ray. Nothing.
yeah, that's true.
For 30 years. We didn't know anything about him other than he had a girlfriend that popped up that apparently was always a part of the situation.
Yeah.
And for the most part, that was successful. That's the only time I've ever seen anything done like that. Like I've never seen them, like they couldn't give, like by Nightmare on Elm Street 5, you know, they couldn't feature Freddy's cousin, you know, that we never knew about.
Yeah.
That's now a part of the situation. You know what I mean? Like, so that's, that was very impressive. So even if you don't like the movie, like at least respect like what he did for the soft reboot, like the most successful soft reboot of any franchise, in my opinion. Like so you can create other, you know, there's a stigma. We have 4 sequels in a horror movie. At that point, they're looking at you like you're ridiculous. And plus, it's a novelty. It's a bride. You know what I mean? It's the bride of something. I know this is like a stigma. Whenever you start using the lead character's name and the moniker, the title of the movies, then it starts to become like the quality dips, the words, you know, Jason Takes Manhattan, you know, Curse of Michael Myers, Freddy's Dead and all that stuff. So, you know what I mean? So by the time you get to Bride of Chucky, by all, it has everything counting against it. You know what I mean? Like it should not have worked, but it did, to the point where to this day, everybody knows the term Bride of Chucky. Everybody knows that. That's like, you know what I mean? Like Chucky's is, because I can say this because I remember before Bride of Chucky existed, Chucky as a character was as popular as Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Just everybody knew him. He was a pop culture figure. You know what I mean? So for you to come forth 10 years in between the last movie and then do something like that deserves respect. Like, so whether you like the movie or not,
definitely. Well, even
but
though
I'll say, because no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even though Curse is my least favorite, I still like it. I love all the Chucky movies. I'm a Chucky fan, but I definitely will say that I think I'm glad they made Curse instead of the Child's Play remake that they were trying to do. Like I'm
right.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I'm gonna talk about that. And I hope nobody's mad at me.
Oh no.
A lot of time say what I have to say about it.
Yeah.
But if you are, so what?
Yeah,
No, I'm joking, but I wanted to say just real quick in defense of Curse of Chucky, because a lot of people like to pick on it. There was so many things to take into consideration, the straight to DVD thing and the lower budget, and you know everything it counts against it. But the movie works well. It's entertaining. Like that's the type of movie I can take somebody who's not a fan and I can show them that movie and they'll enjoy it. I've done it. I've seen this happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I appreciate it because, again, people skip over this. Do you realize how big of a deal it is to have Charles Lee Ray back on screen again?
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I didn't think Brad Dourif was ever going to be in person a part of these movies ever again for any reason. I couldn't see it. I didn't know how it was going to work. And he did it. So for that alone, I fucking appreciate that. I really, really do. Now, I know people don't like what they did to changing the origins. But here's the thing. Would you agree that because we knew so little and our only introduction about Brad Dourif and Child's Play was the very beginning where he dies, and to the point, I think people like differentiate Charles Lee Ray from the character Chucky so much that you notice when people refer to Brad, even though he is both, he's the person, he's the voice of the character, but they refer to Brad Dourif in the flesh, human Chucky, as Charles Lee Ray. They don't refer to him as Chucky. The two are one and the same, but people... There's such a disconnect because the only time you're ever introduced to him is the first 10 minutes of the movie and never again for a 30-year, series that's been going on for 30 years that they call him Charles like he's not Chucky. So And you know what I mean? So that was cool. And I felt like also because they never established anything about him, he always came across more so like a thug as opposed to an insane serial killer that we're introduced to in the doll form.
Yeah.
And he came across like a, you know, just like a, I don't know, like I didn't get the psycho-ness from him. They didn't get a chance to establish it. So I appreciate, you know, I get it. They don't like the soft reboot, you know, they're implying that he has some kind of obsession with families and kids and all that stuff, and that's changing what we know about the character. But I look at it like we really don't know enough about the character. I appreciate you giving us something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
and
I mean,
like that. People forget this too. Let me just say this real quick. We got to see, like, everybody was also worried about how comfortable we've become with Chucky as a character, and we're not afraid of him anymore, and that's why we see it. And we got to see Chucky as a human. Charles Lee Ray, Brad Dourif stab a pregnant woman in the stomach. I think we forget about that. I've not seen Jason do that shit. I've not seen Freddy do that shit.
Yeah.
And you saw the worst they can get with Freddy was the implication that he was a child molester.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That's like the edginess with that character. I didn't see that with Michael Myers. I didn't see that with, we got that with Chucky, and everybody forgets that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
it's how hardcore.
The reality is, I mean, anybody can nitpick any of the Child's Play movies and point out flaws, but, you know, you just got to sit back and relax and not take certain things too seriously. Like, sure, Don Mancini is going to put a joke here or there, like voodoo's for dummies and stuff like that, or just blame it on voodoo, you know, but yeah, you're right. Like, in the original Child's Play, we never get to see Chucky or Charles Lee Ray be a killer, or, you know, we never get to establish him as an evil dude before he gets into the dolls. So we never really get to see that. But you're right, in the soft, if you look at Curse of Chucky as a soft reboot, it does really establish that character before he even gets into the doll as being kind of like a sadistic, creepy motherfucker, you know?
Right. And I appreciate that at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But before that happened, for like 5 years or more, Don Mancini and David Kirshner were trying to get the remake, Don Mancini's remake of Child's Play off the ground. And I'm going to try to make a video on it someday in the future, just kind of compile all the info I can on what his plan was and, you know, like what that movie might have been.
From what I understand, from what I heard him say, a lot of the stuff from his proposed remake went to Curse. So I honestly think that's where Alice instead of Andy came from. That's where the reimagining of his origins, as you know, and how he came to be. That's how that came into play, and the introduction to the Sneaker character and all that stuff. I feel like we got the remake that he was gonna do. You know what I mean?
Well, I know he talked about it. I think it was like the Child's Play 25th anniversary DVD. They were talking about their plans, and they said something about he had like a catalog of old scenes from like his original Blood Buddy script that he never got to use, like Andy going to the dentist and the dentist is fucking with him, and then Chucky kills the dentist, and then like all these other scenes, like with Chucky killing the teacher and stuff, that he was going to bring back for the remake. But I'm just glad, you know, like, you know, I prefer Curse of Chucky to a remake of Charles Lee Ray. That's why I'm glad, you know, that the new remake does not have the character of Charles Lee Ray in it, because to me it's less disrespectful to the original franchise. Because imagine if they had like Mark Hamill, even if it was Mark Hamill pretending to be Charles Lee Ray, it would have just, I don't know if I could have got behind it.
It's just better that they separate the character.
Yeah, for sure. Because
I agree. Even though essentially he is essentially doing Brad Dourif. Can we not agree on
that? He's pretty fucking close. He's, you know, there's moments, and I think, you know, I think Lars Klevberg directed him to do that because, you know, he looks at all these other reboots like the Freddy reboot, and he thinks maybe it failed because the performance wasn't close enough to Robert Englund's, you know, but you know, so he wants to have sort of, you know, something that ties to that original performance a little, but you know, I still think
Right.
it's you know, it's a different take. Like, here's the thing, like normally I'm against the idea. Normally I would be against, as a Chucky fan, I would be against the idea of remaking Chucky or remaking Child's Play, just because Child's Play 1 is is probably my favorite movie of all time. And like, so to me that's like sacred hollow ground. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know, if they can make Chucky scary again, if they can somehow, you know, make Chucky scary again, and I don't know if that remake is going to make him scary again or not. I don't know until after I see it. But you know, the reason I've been supporting the remake or been optimistic about it from day one and saying I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt till I see it, and then I'm gonna give you my straight up opinion as a Chucky fan on what I think. But like, I was always hoping from day one before we saw any promotional material that they would be making Chucky scary again. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going down that route because from the trailers, it makes the remake looks like they're going to have a lot of over the top kills and maybe some humor in there. And so that it might have, who knows what the tone is going to be. We don't really know yet. And, but
Say it's gonna be it's gonna be serious. It seems I'll give them that. If any criticisms I had, I feel like they know good and well the way to go to approach this movie is to be scary,
yeah,
and not funny.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Besides like the typical like weird, like you notice how they have a lot of comedic actors and writers involved in horror nowadays, like
yeah,
Yeah.
McBride, you know, writing
yeah,
and produce, you know, writing Halloween, and then you notice how Rob Zombie always takes like these indie comedians and stuff and puts them in his cast,
yeah,
cast them in his movies and all
yeah,
that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
like beyond that, like, and then you know, there's the inevitable. I do comedy, so I feel like these people feel pressure to put something funny in these movies. So we get the that stupid ass conversation about baguettes and bond memes
oh
and
yeah,
Halloween. You know what I mean?
yeah. I know
And
what
stuff
Yeah.
you're
like that.
yeah,
So like beyond that, I don't think that there's gonna be anything. And then you know you have kids, so there's gonna be cracking jokes. And I still
yeah,
say that the only reason why we're even getting this remake is because this is just essentially because I haven't forgotten. This is just it with the doll.
yeah.
That's what it is.
It and Stranger Thing. It's basically Goonies versus Chucky. You know, that's what I've looked at it
Summer of
as.
'84,
Yeah,
Summer of '84, The Babysitter from the
yeah,
Netflix original movie. It
Mm.
yeah,
Stranger Things, all the you know what I mean,
yeah,
like the preteens banding together in a like I don't know, it's always like a period piece type of thing, even though they
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
you
this
know
will definitely.
did it
Yeah.
out there.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm glad. I was a little shocked when I first found out what it was going to be about. You know, but and I was glad. But now I'm glad that they're not doing Charles Lee Ray. That we get a new origin story. You know, a reimagining that's really different than the original. Like, because I would have been pissed if they would have just tried to recreate Charles Lee Ray and recreate the
Right,
original.
right.
I'd have been, that would have really made me mad because,
Yeah.
like, you know,
You can't.
no,
You got to put some respect on Brad's name. The man
yeah,
is an Oscar nominated actor.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
his, you can't like what he brings to the role. It'd be disrespectful to try to
yeah,
write over. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like because and the thing that I love about the first three, particularly the first and then even the second, is that with with Brad Dourif and Catherine Hicks, those are you know, and Chris Sarandon, those are serious actors. And
oh yeah,
I remember when I went to a Q&A with Brad Dourif, the reason why he said a lot of his focal point for his inspiration for doing Chucky
hmm,
is rage, and you can't condescend to the material. So you have to, you know what I mean? He goes in
Yeah.
to play this character.
Oh yeah.
And then like
Brad Dourif is awesome because he's a classically trained, serious ass actor, and he's still he's like, hey, I love Chuck. You know, he loves Chucky. He loves playing this part. He doesn't look down on the material, and I like that.
Yeah.
Right. And because he takes it seriously and he approaches it the way he does with all his skill, that's why it works as well as it does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, because I heard there was story because he, you know, the stories that he got fired initially. They fired him. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to be the voice.
Yeah.
And I guess what that meant was he played Charles E. Ray, and then for some reason they thought it would work to have a comedic actor do the voice for Chuck. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard this by now. This is what he said. They did the test screenings. They did like 80% of the movie or something like that with this comedic actor trying to do like I hate to say it, like like with a black comedy approach to it. And that's why, you know, and he just thinking that it was going to be the best thing in the world. Like people were going to laugh and they were going to be scared. It was going to be funny and it was going to work. And test audiences hated it. Yeah. And by the time they, you know, came back to do the reshoots in terms of him, he said they were pretty desperate by the time after that. Like they kind of begged him to come back. And then that was the only time where he recorded his voice after everything was already shot. Yeah. Because of that, and you know what I mean. So that's why I agree. I say that to say that's why I agree. Like you cannot. I'm not interested in anybody else's interpretation of Charles Lee Ray. So they were definitely smart in doing this way. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think a lot more people would be pissed if they were just trying to remake the original, like frame by frame, and try to recreate that performance. Because you can't. You just can't. You got to make it something different.
Definitely not.
And to me, it's like, all right, I just, look, after Seed of Chucky, that Don Mancini jumped the shark with the character of Chucky. Like, he brought him into that version of Chucky was brought into such territory that it's hard to make him the bad guy again. It's hard to make him scary when he's the hero now. We root for Chucky, we don't want to see nothing happen to him. Like, he's our hero, basically. So I'm hoping that this new remake makes us hate Chucky again, or makes us scared of him again, or make him the bad guy again. But I don't know. Like, from the way it's looking, we might be getting a more sympathetic Chucky in this remake. Like, I don't know. Because in this remake, he's not a serial killer. He's like the friend from hell. Like the obsessed friend who is jealous of everybody else, and they're, just a psycho. But that
it sounds a little lame when you say it like that.
Well, I mean, I think it's gonna, a lot of successful horror movies lull you into a sense of, comfort before they scare you. And I think this new remake is going to spend a lot of time in the beginning building this cute and cuddly relationship with Andy and Chucky where, they're just hanging out and they're friends and everything's going good before it starts getting scary. And then they're going to... And then they're going to come with the, Chucky starts getting evil type shit, out of nowhere. And then it might be scary. I'm hoping it's going to be scary.
This is the thing. That's all good. My issue is the look.
Yeah.
Not feeling it.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What do you guys think? I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. It's making me not want to give the movie a chance. It's what do you guys think?
What do you think, Romeo?
I have mixed opinions. Some shots the doll looks good, some shots it doesn't.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of inconsistencies with the doll. And
I can't even, but that's not my issue with it, because there's been inconsistencies all throughout the series, from scene to scene within the movie.
Yeah.
My problem is it just wasn't conceptualized very well.
Yeah.
And I say this because, I was going to school for, I wanted to get into conceptual art, and that's my favorite part of visual effects and practical effects. The creation and the ideal and the brainstorming of the thing that you're making, the perfect finished product, and everything that goes into it. And it does not work aesthetically for me. It just nothing about this works. Can we forget, I don't know how old everybody is, but I had My Buddy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else have a My Buddy?
Oh yeah, I had a My Buddy. I actually used to perform the Don Bala chant on my Buddy and shit, man.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
Me too. And I even I used to put a little pocket knife in his front pocket and
nice.
And what do you call what I mean? I remember, I'll tell a quick story. I remember I used to, when my great grandmother, her caretaker, the nurse that would come, and she would care for my great grandmother in the living room. It was in the hospital bed in the living room. I would torment this poor woman her whole shift. It would be dead quiet when I was over my grandmother's house, and I would throw the My Buddy doll down the stairs, and she wouldn't know that it was me. And she was it was like I think it was like every 20 minutes I was doing this. And it was hilarious. I would throw it at the foot of the steps on the second floor just to see her reaction, because I was trying to scare the hell out of her. And it never occurred to me that was obnoxious as fuck. But it was amusing as hell to me. But I know I probably got on her damn nerves. Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to say. But the thing is, the reason why one of the reasons to me why Child's Play worked is because there's an excellent breaking the fourth wall aspect about Chucky, the doll, the good guy doll. This thing, like if you put a My Buddy doll next to a good guy doll, they're almost identical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had reference as a kid. I had reference to something in this movie that I could relate to, and I would want, and I needed, and was cool, and it's just, wow, that's just like this. And if this had happened and everything, it made me think that the good guy was real. You know what I mean? And because I can relate it to something that actually exists. Yeah. And that's because so much, just doing these customs, I had to research why they chose to do a lot of the things that they were doing when I was trying to replicate it. So I had to look. Everything about the good guy belongs in some facet to an actual real life doll that was being sold in the 80s. The corduroy on the pants. He's not wearing any pants right now because we still have to make them. But the corduroy's on the pants. Mm-hmm. The corduroy matches the hat that Corky dolls that were being sold in 1986. Wow. With the same voice actor that did the voice for the good guy doll in Child's Play and the doll, Corky doll, sold by Playmate Toys. Wow. The corduroy from his outfit comes from the corduroy and the Corky doll. The emblems all over the clothes comes from the Corky doll. His name being stamped, the branding, his name being stamped all over his clothes, his suspenders. He has Corky insignia on the bottom of his shoe. Wow. Plastic red shoes. He has the Corky insignia. So if you were to put the Corky shoe in some dirt, dust, flour, something like that, it would say Corky in the shoe. Do you see where I'm going with this? It would say Corky in the flour. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like besides like the overall aesthetic matching. Besides that, the overall aesthetic matching the My Buddy doll. Like I'm old enough. I remember going to toy stores and after seeing Child's Play and seeing all My Buddy dolls lined up on the shelves, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. There's nothing like that to relate to this new movie. So they're already at a disadvantage. I know people, you know what I mean, because of that. Because it's just you have to sell me on this story. Yeah. Because I have nothing to reference. I mean,
there might not be like a doll yet, like a smart toy yet, like that, but we do have like Alexa and stuff, like these AIs.
I know. I know.
So,
but it's not the same. and I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I know they have the little Sophia. Sophia's the smaller version of. I had to look this shit up. That's the problem. I had to look this up because I wasn't aware of it. And that they're already at a disadvantage because of that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work the same. It's to the point where the My Buddy and the Chucky universe, real life and movieverse, are so intertwined. When I was a kid and I would carry my buddy around, people would call him Chucky.
Yeah.
They stopped calling him My Buddy. They would call, oh, you have a Chucky doll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and they don't, when I would go over my friend's house, we would go into the attic, cleaning up stuff.
Yeah.
On the old stuff, everybody had they would have a My Buddy. Everybody my age group had one of these things. So I can relate these movies to real life thing. And it's very charming. It's a really charming thing it's the charm about it. And I can't do that with this movie. You know what I'm saying? So they're already at a disadvantage to me.
Well, yeah. Well, they had two options for what they could have done. They could have made it realistic, so it kind of was creepy in an uncanny valley type way, to where like this doll looks creepy. Or they could do what they did, which I think is they try to make it more look like a toy instead of looking like a Cabbage Patch doll type thing. You know, like Cabbage Patch doll.
Does it really look like a toy?
I mean, I think with the
it doesn't look like something that would be sold in stores.
With the exaggerated eyes, you know, like it's got like anime style eyes. It's more like cartoon.
What's the thing? I'll give them that. I like the fact that it has LED eyes. That seems like something that I would see in a toy nowadays. Huh? Yeah, the Teddy Ruxpin. That was another 80s doll that was interactive. Yeah. Interactive toy at the same time as My Buddy and
well, apparently they're referencing that. Spoiler alert, they're referencing that in the remake.
Yeah, they re-released it and it matches that. So that it kind of can be applied to it, but not the same. This is my problem. I feel like, because I cannot remember the name, they went through a whole process of deciding who they wanted in terms of the original effects for the first Child's Play. Yeah. So Kevin Yeager almost didn't. Wasn't the first choice. Yeah. I cannot remember the name of the other gentleman, but there's something I remember. If you look at the Blu-ray DVDs, the behind-the-scenes footage, the doll that they were working on before, because I remember Kevin Yeager saying this in an interview. They said that part of the problem when working on the first Chucky was there's too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody had a say-so, producers, and an input in how this doll should look. Every time they showed them something, they said, well, it's not good enough, take it back, work on it again. Then they have to show them something else. It's not cute enough, take it back, work on it again. Then they have to show it to, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they get to the point where they have to get ready to shoot. So, and the thing is, if you look in the Blu-ray, Child's Play Blu-ray DVD, you can see the original dolls that they were working on. You can see those back then. They even have painted versions. I posted it in the group. I'll post it again. It's a real. It looks really odd. It was sculpted by James Cagle. He did the final version as well, but that was one of the omitted versions of the doll. And to be honest with you, it looks like Buddy. It looks like Buddy. And I say that to say it's something that the producers thought would not work, and they had to scrap it. And they were getting ready to use it, but somebody, thank goodness, said this doesn't look cute enough. Yeah. And what they did was I can see, because I have my creative partner Blake. He's like a doll expert. He like knows a whole bunch of stuff. That's part of the reason why I'm able to do what I do with customs, because he's like a doll expert. Oh, sweet. So he knows about all the the marketing and all that stuff, and the physical, the creative process and the stenciling and all that stuff, and why they chose to do the things they did in terms of. I told him he should work for Mattel because he knows a lot. And he, and because of this, he made me aware that essentially this good guy, because this is from a screen used cast, but this is not from mine are not. I repeat this, mine are not from anything that Garrett Zima has ever owned. Yeah. I did not take anything that he had in his possession and recasted it. I have my own person who helped me out because I told them what I wanted to do, and were able to get me a screen use cast to be able to do it, because Garrett does stuff to his castings and changes it to his liking and makes creative decisions that I don't necessarily agree with. Yeah. So he can do what he wants to do with his, and I do what I want to do with mine. But just to be clear, this is nothing I make my stuff from has ever been in the possession of Garrett Zima. So, I just wanted to say that. But he, the look of the face, this is Corky's face. They're nearly identical. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't have both of them together, I wouldn't notice how influenced they are by one another. So I have to say, what in the hell was the reference when they were making Buddy? Because I cannot see it anywhere on anything. And that's perplexing to me. Just knowing what I know, and having more than just, intermediate knowledge about these things to be able to do what I do. The fact that I noticed this, I can't unsee it. So I can't even look at it scene to scene and say, okay, well, it looks pretty good in this scene, doesn't look so good in that scene, because it just doesn't look, the look just doesn't work. Conceptually, it does not work for me.
I think, like you said, the original look was meticulously constructed and scrutinized and designed to be something that evokes that nostalgia of what toys looked like in the 80s, or that feel they gave, so like toys just haven't been the same.
They have for something nowadays. They have references for things nowadays. They didn't use any. Everything about, but like, I don't know if you know, they already have cosplay. People are posting in groups cosplay with the exact sweater pattern
for and, the Buddy
outfit. Yeah, for Buddy. You know why? Because I've lived near the fashion district in LA. That's where they have a bunch of textile stores that sell on huge wheels. They sell hundreds of yards worth of a particular design of fabric that they buy in bulk. Yeah. That sweater pattern, to me, I don't even think that was made for this movie. I think that's a generic pattern that they took and then they used it for this, and then that's why people can find it and all this shit. Yeah. So that's something that works against it. And just knowing what I know, it makes it not work, because people forget, right? When I talk shit about this movie, I don't want to hate this movie. I don't. Why would I? I'm a Chucky fan. Why would I want to have something Chucky related that I'm not looking forward to? Why in the hell would I want that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're not giving me anything, though. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? They're not giving. I don't work for Universal. I like Don. I met him a couple of times. I feel like it was disrespectful what they did making this project to begin with. But at the end of the day, and I feel like they never should have done it. But I feel like since they did, I would at least like to be able to find some joy in it and enjoy it. But they're not allowing me to do so, because they're not giving me anything that I really like. You know what I mean? Like, and we all know. I just want to say this real quick. Oh yeah. Because I keep going off in it. I want to say this. We saw what happened with Sonic, right? Everybody hated it.
Yeah.
And to the point where it went viral, to the point where they took their asses back. They contracted VFX artists to redo this shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the movie, I guarantee the movie's like done. Essentially done. So they're having to work their asses off to fix this problem. Mm-hmm. There's certain tropes that every couple of years that visual effects follow, certain trends and things that they follow. And remember in the 90s, it was when you remade something, I guess this is technically the 80s and the 90s, when you remade something, you had to do it. Like I want to say, remember when they did? Remember Jurassic Park came out in '93, right? Remember what they did with Godzilla?
Yeah.
He went from a rubber guy in a suit to essentially an anatomically correct Tyrannosaurus phenotype type creature because Jurassic Park was so popular, they weren't willing to accept anything anatomically that we couldn't reference and couldn't believe that actually existed. So the big rubbery, elephantine like look to Godzilla, they had to change that. And certain, like, when that failed, they realized that shit didn't work. So like they did the same thing with Godzilla. Remember, they did the same thing with King Kong. Remember, they completely retooled and made him look like a realistic silverback host. Like that was the thing. But these movies came, Nightmare on Elm Street. Look what they did. They said we're gonna make realistic burns.
Yeah.
Because it was the 80s, it was too abstract and it was too like monster, the practical effects were very much in. It wasn't so much focused on realism, even though Kevin Yeager's Freddy is untouched in my opinion. But they tried to do that, it didn't work. So now what the thing is to, in terms of visual effects, is to pay homage to the original. You know what I mean? Go back. Like, look what they did with Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did literal, interpretations of cartoons that like realistically don't work. Like the Mr. Mime thing, like that. There's no living reference to what if they were going to make something like that appear live in live action, what it would be supposed to look like. In terms of an organic thing, but that's not what the fans want. If you notice, I don't know if anybody saw that Jurassic Park 3 wasn't that great of a movie.
Yeah.
Remember, they were changing the look of everything, and the raptors were more like avian looking and looked more like birds. By the time Jurassic World came out, they went back to the original design of the Velociraptors and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. By the time the Godzilla remake came out, they went back to the original design for the kaiju. By the time King Kong came out, they went back to the original 1933 upright walking, design. Like, this is the thing. I say that because, like, I don't know why the producers of Child's Play did not get the memo, but you need to respect the foundation of a popular character's look.
Yeah.
You cannot change him like that. That's not what people want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Change him so drastically. If they were smart, they would have gave us the air of familiarity for people to be able to accept this new thing as a whole. You know what I mean? And because they didn't do that, they completely ignored all the tropes and things that have been trending in special effects, visual effects, and all that stuff, and they completely did their own thing. And they fucked themselves over before they even began, because now what they had to do is they campaigned. They had to campaign and they had to hide Chucky. The movie's getting ready to come out in 12 days.
Yeah.
We just got to see him for the first time last month. Notice you're not seeing him move. You haven't seen him really move yet. You haven't seen the voice coming out of his mouth. It's just a disembodied voice. They're hiding the character because they know they fucked up. I know this. They know they fucked up, but it's too late. They don't have the budget to go back and change anything. What they did do is they changed. If you notice in that little behind the scenes featurette, I'm sorry to be so intense about this because I want people to pay attention to this so they don't think I'm just hating. Like, they dismiss everything I say as I'm just hating and I have some reason to be jealous and whatever their idea of what I say is. But the only thing they did, if you notice, the design of the eyes changed back and forth from scene to scene to scene to scene, because a lot of that stuff is pre-reshoot stuff. Because I've taken After Effects courses and classes. They use CGI for everything nowadays. Mm-hmm. So when people are looking at something, they always feel like it's you're looking like they're gonna take a doll, they're gonna make a CGI doll. That's not what they do. They take compositing, visual effects, After Effects and stuff like that, and they smooth something that they've already done over. They make it look better. They're like, you know what I mean? So they don't have the budget. They can't completely go frame by frame and recreate this new Buddy doll that looks better than what people have seen. So they do what they can. They tweak it. He now has LED eyes. If you look when he was first debuted, it's different.
Yeah.
You look, the eyes look different from what they did because they wanted to do something to change because they know they fucked up. They know the reception was very bad. And you know what I mean? And because of this, that leads me, it's very something very disingenuous about this movie that makes me not like it. Because it literally, they rushed it. They didn't take time to perfect how he looked. They didn't give me something as a 30-year fan that I was gonna like. You know what I mean? And because of that, like now they're having to scramble and hide and use trickery to advertise this movie and this character. And I can't. It makes the movie very disingenuous to me, and it makes me not like they're already starting off on the wrong foot with me as a fan.
Well, you know, there's two big mistakes you can make with a remake, and the first mistake is trying to do an iconic character but have him look different and not get the look right. That's the first mistake. And the second mistake is fundamentally changing what made the character what it was. And it seems like the Child's Play remake checks both of those boxes, you know? Like, it doesn't look like the original Chucky, and it completely changes the original character into something different. Like, it's because the original Child's Play used to be about, it's not just a killer doll movie, but it's a possession movie too. It's like this constant threat of there's something worse than being killed, like having your soul taken over and this killer's in your body now. You know, that's even worse. So that aspect is completely gone from this movie. Now it's a killer toy movie. You know, so it's kind of like when Texas Chainsaw Remake came out and they left out the cannibalism aspect and they made it all about Leatherface. It's like TCM's all about that they were cannibals and shit. How could you leave that out? How could you change that? Or like Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, how could you not get the look right? You know, they tried to do it realistic instead of actually doing it, you know, so we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. You know, like they made Chucky look drastically different in this movie. You know, there's similarities to the original in the remake, but you know, you'll have to see after. I'd love to see your review, man, after the movie comes out, what you think about it, and if you think it would have been any better if it would have looked identical to the old Chucky with the same script, the same actors, and the same stuff. Because
you know, it's just respecting what they established, not giving us the same.
Yeah.
It used to be that the whole purpose of something like this, because one of the main reasons why people wanted to see this is they wanted to see Chucky back in the theaters again. They wanted to see if Chucky had a bigger budget again. They wanted to see if it was 2019, what would Chucky look like, the bigger, better again. And can you say that we've gotten that with this movie from anything you've seen so far? Because it's not going to get any. I would find it hard to believe it's going to get any better when you actually see the movie. It's kind of what you see is what you get.
I don't know. See, I think a lot of people are gonna go into this movie with expectations, you know, whatever they may be, but at the end, I think a lot of people are gonna fall in love with this movie, even people who are skeptical at first, if they embrace it as something new, and you know, like, because we'll see, you know, like I said, you know, it's unfair to judge it yet, you know, like we'll see what it looks like, you know, like there could be all kinds of different reasons, but you know,
right.
Like,
I just want to say this, and then I kind of have to wrap up because I enjoyed talking with you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just want to say I will be able to enjoy this movie when I get to differentiate it. I get to appreciate it as something disconnected, not connected to Chucky. I'll be able to look at it as an entertaining movie when I can move it away when we get this TV series. It's because right now it's threatening to me as a fan. You know what I mean? The presence of this thing it's threatening to me. It's disrespectful to me as a fan. It's, you know what I mean? It's disingenuous. It doesn't have any heart. It doesn't have any personality. I can't relate to it. You know, Andy's 27 years old, and you know what I mean. I just can't. You know, you know, once I can watch it and I can just enjoy it as a good, an entertaining movie. You know, and we get this TV show, I'll be able to enjoy it for what it is because it's here. I can't do anything about it. We can't, you know what I mean? So I want, as a fan, to be able to enjoy it, but I can't.
Well, you seem to be the person that You know, no matter what, you tell your opinion. So I'm sure if you end up liking the movie, you're gonna let us know, and if you didn't like it, you'll let us
Right,
know. So you know,
right,
we'll we'll
definitely.
we'll see what's up. But yeah, I mean, one last thing I just want to talk to you about, man. What do you think about all this Trick or Treat Studios, like the new Chucky doll, the new Good Guys? Is that like you think they're doing the right thing releasing all these dolls? Because they're talking about they might release the Bride of Chucky and the Child's Play 2, Knife Hand Chucky and the Glenn and the Tiffany
They
all in the
are.
same year.
I know Chris Z, the owner and proprietor of Trick or Treat Studio. He's a
Oh,
friend of
cool.
mine.
Nice. Yeah, I think.
So
What do you think?
that stuff is coming.
I personally think they
Um,
should stretch it out to $1 a year. Like, I don't want to see them not
but
succeed. Like, do you think there's?
not me, because there's far too many opportunists in this hobby. There's far too many people. You see how much bullshit you see on eBay? How much nonsense? How much
Yeah,
non-thought? Somebody got a hold of a cast of something, recasted it,
yeah,
threw it together,
yeah,
and they're now selling it. And I say anybody can make a custom, but not everybody's a custom maker.
yeah,
So and there's far too much
yeah,
opportunism in this
yeah,
hobby, and I don't like
yeah.
it. So
No,
I
I
feel like
think
there needs
it's
to be some kind of regulation.
I think it's gonna drive down the prices on some of these custom because a lot of people are getting taken to the cleaners with these
Right.
customs,
You know,
and it's like
it is, but yeah, it is, because
I'm just
it's ridiculous. Like, it's a double-edged sword. 'Cause I'm trying not to say this because I don't want to speak ill of anybody.
it's all good, man.
So I'm not gonna mention any names, but I ain't gonna point no elbows. But what do you call it? There's too many greedy people in this damn hobby, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's crazy how much resistance I get trying to do the right thing. It makes me not want to do the shit. You know what I mean? It makes me
Yeah,
not want to run the fan page. Makes me not want to make an affordable custom that I put so much. Like I don't think people know. Like how much work. I don't know about everybody else because I don't just go to Spoonflower.
yeah,
I don't paint, then buy hair, or buy a wig, or buy hair, and
yeah,
then have somebody, then go to Spoonflower and have a yard of Chucky shirt fabric printed on cheap ass cheesecloth
yeah,
and incorrect material,
yeah.
and put it. I'm not pointing no elbows, and I'm not talking about Michael Lawrence because I like him, and he's
Yeah,
what you should do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You seen what he's done? He's given us different interpretations of Chucky, what we wanted to see. Why would you come even after me and decide I want to make a good guy too? Why? We don't need it. You know what I mean? For what? And
yeah,
then it doesn't look any different from what we've already seen. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I don't like it. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and
yeah,
I feel like that because you're not able to recognize stuff like that. That's why you're susceptible to being attached to this new movie and giving us a doll that nobody really wanted to begin with, or they want it because they're looking forward to the movie. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like if you're gonna volunteer your services to be a part to replicate something for this new movie, do it right. If your shit is not together, if you don't have if you don't pay attention to detail on your classic good guy,
yeah,
I really don't want to see. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing the movie hasn't even come out yet, and I'm already seeing inconsistencies with the replication. But this is just how it works. There's only certain things that me and Blake notice in terms of detail that
yeah,
you wouldn't notice because we people are so used to seeing customs done the wrong way that when they see it done the correct way, they don't see it. They feel like it's wrong. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's really weird and annoying, but I feel like Trick or Treat Studios needs to do this. It needs to be some kind of regulation to the hobby. So there's not all these people that are just looking to get paid
yeah,
jumping into this. Because again, back when 2012, when I started Project Chucky, 2011, 2012, where in the hell were all these people at? Where were all these groups at? I didn't want to run a group and deal with fucking annoying personalities and people stealing my profile picture, and I'm having to use an alias.
Dang.
So they don't go, take my pictures and shit, and you know what I mean, and troll groups. I didn't want to have to do that because I know how people are, especially when there's no accountability to anybody. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's too much running amok. It's too much opportunism in this hobby. I feel like it's about time. And I feel like it's about time, even though I do customs, but I'm so secure in what we do and what I contribute that there's always going to be room for what I'm doing on top of a mass-produced thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I think there needs to be some kind of thing where they say you cannot overcharge people. You get a quality thing.
Yeah.
Tony Gardner worked on it from the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's a great thing too. I think it's a great thing too. I just don't want them to Chucky fans can only afford like $1 a year. So if they're releasing all of them and they're just, I just want them to maybe spread it out a little, like make it something special.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't want them to fail at this. I want them to succeed so that the market can stay competitive. And like you said, people can get,
talking about in between the release of each.
I know, but I'm just saying, so long for the good guy to finally come
on
the market.
Blake is telling me because it took so long for the good guy that was in the works for like 3 or 4 years or something like that.
It was like 2014 when it was announced.
It was like,
wow.
I heard about it in 2015 because I know people and I know people that own props and stuff that probably, were contacted and da. So he's saying it took so long for the production of these things that that's why it seems like it's so packed together, but it's not because it took so long for this to come out. Yeah. But I understand what you guys are saying. I'm not gonna lie to you. I make customs and I can't afford that shit. I can't afford to give, you know what I mean, right now if I want to, because my money goes into making customs and it's not. I don't do this to be like, ooh, I'm gonna get paid. I need to sell a doll. I'm gonna get paid. You know what I mean? That's not why I do this. I do it because I want people to have my stuff in their collection. There's a certain sense of pride I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm sensitive about my shit.
You guys think you'll ever work on a fan film ever in the future? Like do effects for a fan film with your good guys, like a Chucky fan film? Cool.
Of course. I just want to be able to have time and get it. I have had ideas and stuff. I just want to be able to do it correctly into my ability.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose you guys are excited for Charles, like all of us.
Definitely. I'm seeing some stuff that they're doing. It looks great.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We'll put some links in the description for where people can contact you. If they're interested in commissioning you for one of your good guy dolls.
Cool.
Like you offer a couple different kinds, right? Like the posable kind and then the loose kind, or
no, whatever? I don't do the posable kind because I'm more focused on screen matchability. Like I don't look to other custom makers to decide what I'm doing when I'm making a custom. That's the movie props are not posable, so mine are not posable.
That's cool because a lot of people want that. A lot of people are looking for a good guy doll that hangs loose and looks like it does in a lot of the scenes where people are carrying it around and it's the loose version, like where it's
right. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get as close to the movie as possible. I don't want to interpret too much and I'm going to decide to do this and that because I have other stuff. I have other versions coming. So let me ask you this. What is the purpose? Because this is the thing. Unlike some other custom makers, all right, I sculpt. So I don't only have to do a good guy version of a custom.
Yeah.
I can have an evil version. So if I do a good guy and I give him what is, I need things to differentiate the two. If I do a good guy, I can't give him a posable frame because that's the good guy version.
Yeah.
If I'm doing an evil version, that needs to be posable for screen matchability and X, Y, and stuff like that. And that's also why I don't give mine the deep acrylic see-through eyes and all that stuff, because it needs to be things that differentiate between the good guy and the evil, like in the movie. So I focus on the movie the
Yeah.
props. I have a lot
Yeah.
of great pictures and references, and people, I don't look to other custom makers when I'm creating anything, because a copy of a copy is not going to be as good. That's my recommendation to anybody who's doing customs. Do not use custom makers as your reference to make things.
Yeah.
Use the source. I say
yeah.
that, and I'm going to get ready to go.
Oh yeah. Well, make sure everybody to go out and Facebook Pride of Chucky, because Akeem does some good live streams. Off of
AKA
there.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, yep. And so yeah, man, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We'd love to have you back on in the future after you see the remake.
Problem.
Hear
Absolutely.
your thoughts.
Nice meeting everybody. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Nice meeting you.
Nightmare script.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
All right then, man. Well, have a great night.
Right.
Thanks for being on, my friend.
No problem. You too. Have a good night, guys.
Yep. Peace out,
You
man.
too.
Wow. What do you think, Nightmare Crip? Whew.
It's just pretty cool.
We've got 9 days now till we can see Child's Play. Are you gonna see it on Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Or
Sweet.
actually, I'm not sure if I'll be able to,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to see it as soon as possible.
Yeah. We'll have to do a Chucky News Live next week some point, maybe, just to hopefully maybe on a Wednesday when Josh can be there, or Damn Dude Industries can be there with us, so we can do our last predictions, our final predictions for the movie. But I'm excited. I know Akeem is skeptical about the remake, and that's his right. I'm optimistic about it. I'm excited for it, and so I'm just counting down the days, man. Are you going to be making some special videos for till the release?
Yeah, I'm trying to post almost every day, like something Chucky related.
Sweet.
And I was gonna do a skit, but I'm not sure if I'm have enough time to.
Yeah,
I'm planning some pretty awesome stuff. Like, we're doing an Annabelle Comes Home versus Child's Play video.
Ooh, yeah.
Pretty much talking about which one I think's gonna be better, which one I think's gonna succeed.
Sweet.
So
that's
pretty
good, man.
For that.
Yeah, that's a good video to put out, because hopefully Chucky will be, because it's going to be that second week, Annabelle versus Chucky, Damn, it's going to be a battle for the killer dolls at the box office. Battle of the Toys. 3 toy movies, Toy Story, Chucky, and Annabelle are all going to be in theaters at the same time. That is fucking crazy.
I know, it's going to be nuts.
You got to get out there and support Chucky, y'all. So make sure to see the remake when it releases opening weekend, so that you can let everyone know that Chucky is viable in the theaters, that, because the whole future of the franchise, in both MGM's franchise and Universal's, hangs in the balance based on the success of this movie. So,
Yeah, and I also I did a video today called Toy Story 4 versus Child's Play.
Oh yeah.
And I talked about how even though like Toy Story is probably gonna beat it, and like no matter what, beat it in the box office, that Child's Play is probably still gonna do good because it's a horror movie and it's about an iconic character.
Yeah.
And so I think it still succeed no matter what.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, let's hope it does, because, everybody involved, I love the cast, Gabriel Bateman and Aubrey Plaza and Brian Tyree Henry, and just everybody
Mark
in the
Hamill.
movie. Yeah, Mark Hamill, yeah. Like, I just,
That's something I wasn't expecting, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if anybody can pull the character off this new version, it would be him. He's like the perfect casting.
Yeah.
Because
I couldn't imagine anyone else doing the character justice, because everyone loves Brad Dourif. He's He's literally like the highlight of the whole entire series. His performance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, Mark Hamill, yeah, there's hints of the classic Chucky when he says some of the lines, like in that new scene they put out where he's speaking through all the Caslin speakers in the house, and Andy's looking for him. When he's like, Andy, over here. Like he sounds like the old Chucky, for a second there. But for the most part, he does.
I like that scene.
Yeah, that's a good scene. That scene alone gave me a lot of confidence in the movie. Like, ooh, that they're,
Yeah, that part was awesome.
Yeah, it was scary. I was scared. I was like, ooh, this is good. I like that. I felt like Chucky was scary again,
It made me excited for the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking pumped. I'm pumped. And we'll see, y'all.
I know I've talked pretty low about the movie in the past, like when it first got announced, but I've come around to really like being hyped for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people were a little upset at first, and because, Child's Play is sacred ground and people don't want to see it messed up. But I think the people making the movie have proven that they have something worthwhile, I don't think the people would have signed on for it if it wasn't a good script. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, and they kept saying the script was good too. All the cast.
Yeah, definitely. So, dang, if only we could get the cast of Child's Play on Chucky News Live, y'all. Wouldn't that be great? Have Mark Hamill.
That'd be awesome.
I bet we could get Mark Hamill and Aubrey Plaza on. That'd be great if we could.
Yeah, that'd be epic.
Yeah. We might not be able to before the movie comes out, but after the movie comes out, we might be able to get them to come on. But they'll probably just be...
Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah, it could happen. But yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. But I'm excited. It's the 10 days of Chucky have officially begun. And I'm going to try to put out some Chucky videos too, leading up to the remake. So make sure to subscribe to Nightmare Crypt, everyone. And yeah, and we'll see about doing one more Chucky News Live before the remake comes out. We'll see if we can make it happen. If all the stars will align.
Maybe one afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to for sure have to do one afterwards for all of our reactions to it.
Yeah, like we all kind of give our thoughts on the movie, our expectations.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for sure. So
it's a good idea.
Hell yeah. I'm pumped. I'm excited. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped too.
Hell yeah. I think they're going to do it justice. We'll see, y'all. We will see. But yeah, so, well, we better call it an episode, I guess, huh? It's about that time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nightmare Crypt, for being part of the show tonight.
No problem.
And we'll definitely, we'll try to get Damn Dude on with us. So it'll be the OG crew for the next episode. So we can.
Yeah, totally.
So we can give our final predictions. But all right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This is your friend forever, Evan Lefavor, Nightmare Crypt. We'll see you next time, y'all.
Yep.
Peace out, Nightmare.
Bye.
Go see Child's Play the remake. Go see Child's Play the remake June 20th and June 21st. See it again June 22nd. Ade Dewey Dembella. Give me the power, I beg of you. Lever mercier de Boshilo. S'accuse in te me poide mort. Mortis me le deve corde maloshe. Aden le porte boisse Dembella. Aden le porte boisse Dembella. Aden le porte boisse Dembella.